All right, so why don't you tell me a little bit about your involvement with RAINN and your role with the organization?
RAINN is an organization that came into my life because of my job in private practice, and I am forever grateful to them because I think they were a remarkable part of me processing and working for and with survivors, and I almost can't speak. I'm so excited. And private practice is storyline with my character Charlotte King, where she was brutally raped and attacked in her office, and you will now see her picking up the pieces. And through the guidance of RAINN, brought so much awareness to the organization, for survivors and co-survivors.
Yeah, I watched that episode and it was really, really moving. So I'm curious how you prepared for the episode, how you sort of got into that role and that.
Well, as a matter of fact, I have one of my great resources right here, Marnie Goodfriend, who is an advocate and a speaker for RAINN, and she has been one of the most courageous hearts I've ever known.
Do you want to share a little bit?
Absolutely. I've been involved with RAINN since 1997, and I am a member of their Speakers Bureau, so I have all kinds of fun opportunities that come up to share my story or help educate the public about RAINN and sexual assault awareness, and this opportunity came up to work with KaDee Strickland and private practice, and you know, it was an unusual opportunity to be able to you know, affect so many people, and just to know that this story was in such good hands. And I am so proud of the work that ABC and KaDee has done with this story.
I am too. Shonda Rhimes our show's creator wrote an exceptional account, and to live it out and to live it out with that cast under such a wonderfully informative circumstance has been the pride of my career at this point. And I've found so much love and courage in something that otherwise is a very dark tale to be told, and it's come through RAINN, and it's come through Shonda's words, and it's come through the support that we've seen people get, and the outreach has been extraordinary from shooting the public service announcement for RAINN's National Sexual Assault Hotline. So this has been a very remarkable opportunity and experience.
How did you two work together to prepare for the role in that episode?
Catherine Hull, I was very specific about the type of survivor I needed to know for the episode, and Catherine Hull put me in contact with Marnie, who happens to be my next door neighbor practically, so it all just worked out beautifully. And also Joni Stewart, who couldn't be here tonight, was another survivor that RAINN connected me with, that informed me and opened her heart, as Marnie did, and opened their experiences so that I could give the most accurate portrayal that I was capable of, and be as informed as I could be about the journey, so that I could portray it and hopefully encourage people to continue helping themselves and finding hope in an otherwise very traumatizing experience.
And what has the reaction been like since that episode? There's been a lot of talk about it online and the blogs and everything. How have you perceived the reaction to that episode and the subsequent episodes as Charlotte begins to recover?
It's exceptional. I get letters. I've been met on the streets. I've been so blessed by the experience of this, because the outpour of people feeling heard, which is really ultimately what I've cared about from the minute Shonda told me this was going to happen to the character. People feel heard and seen, and people have gotten help, and that's really the objective at all times for me, and to have the opportunity to do that in a global way ultimately, because we do show in other countries, is really, it's been the thing that keeps a girl going, if the girls meet.
Great. And just in general, how do you think we can improve awareness of sexual violence in pop culture? You know, there's been a few portrayals of rape on television in the last few years, but it's still an issue that is hard to tackle on national television and in pop culture. So what do you think, what are ways that we can sort of tackle the issue on a larger scale?
Well, I think not sweeping it under the rug, which is something that we've seen Oprah Winfrey do recently. I know that other shows like Dexter have tackled the subject. I've not seen the portrayal, so I can't vouch for it, but I know that when a network gets behind something and has the courage to allow the writer, the storyteller, and the actors to portray it, that's where it starts. I also think that the point of view that Shonda took with Charlotte's story and making it about the victim herself and the experience and healing process of becoming a survivor is tremendous, and I think it's the message I'm proud to be telling. And I'm encouraged by the fact that The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Alice Sebold's books, there's so many things now where people have the courage to speak out, and with an organization like RAINN working in a cohesive manner with different outlets like ABC and Private Practice, we're able to do legwork that we otherwise wouldn't be able to do. And I think, the internet is a tremendously powerful tool. We were on Capitol Hill today talking about the SAFER Act, which is...
And can you tell us about that?
I can't do... I've been talking a lot. Would you like to talk a little bit?
Sure. The SAFER Act would basically, it would take untested rape kits and provide a tracking number onto these kits, and it would work as a registry, or I think as one person said, it's kind of like FedEx, which is like the best way of describing it in a way that people will really understand, so that we can account for the number of untested rape kits that are sitting in storage facilities, and then also that a survivor can track, she or he can track their own kit. They can track its progress. Where is it? What's happening with my case? And if something's happening in one state versus another state, that gives more power to the survivor.
And it's also a real tool in accountability. The more people continue to do the work in terms of going through these rape kits, for a survivor, that DNA evidence can change the lives of so many. It can be a preventative measure, and DNA has really changed people's lives in a way that I am profoundly grateful that we have the opportunity to meet with Congress and discuss this, because it's really a no-brainer. It doesn't cost any more to do it, and it also really does allow people to make sure that the police are doing their jobs, and that they themselves can eventually heal at a quicker rate if they can take back some of the control that is lost when an attack happens by going to that number and being aware and being accountable with the community and for the community. It's just a wonderful thing. It's a win-win all around.
And also for a survivor, when in those early stages, or when you're asked, would you have a rape kit performed? If you're thinking about, well, I've read in the media that rape kit may be sitting in a storage facility, and rape kits go untested. The type of bill that they're putting across here would encourage survivors to have that rape kit.
And on that note, actually, I know in the show, Charlotte refused to have a rape kit, and she did not want to report her rape. She didn't even really want to tell anyone. So I'm curious how you guys, what went into the decision to write that into the story? Why did Charlotte choose not to have the rape kit?
That was Shonda's decision, I think, to really take an accurate portrayal from the point of view of the character, because that is so much in the mind of who Charlotte King is. And I think it's also accurate statistically, and it's a story that people don't talk about that often. Fortunately, Addison, the character played by Kate Walsh, does the rape kit out of an instinct that Charlotte will, in fact, go back on that moment and be grateful that it was done. Tonight's episode that airs, you will see the results of what happens next, which is really, it's a powerful message, because hopefully, in conjunction with the PSA that we shot for RAINN, people will understand the message we're really trying to get across is to take responsibility in a way that will allow you to heal. And in those moments, there's no judgment on what a person chooses to do. Some people don't confront this for 20 years or more. And we're certainly not advocating for people not to report. The advocacy is for people to take their lives into their own hands and move forward. But I think because you've never seen that point of view portrayed in the way that we did, in alignment with who the character is, I think it was the best choice because I think it's very realistic, and that was ultimately what we cared about. Someone with that much of a control issue, someone who's had it happen in the workplace, who frankly in those moments is in shock and denial. Her whole world is crashing. I mean, that happens. So I was pleased that not only did we tackle that to show that it happens, but we advocated to make the choice to go forward and to give help. And the other thing, you know, when you go back into the Safer Act, there's anonymity in that. There's anonymity in going to RAINN and going to the website, to the online registry. I mean, for people that can't speak out and that can't quite catch up to the reality that's happened to them in those very recent moments after the attack, it gives them an opportunity to be heard without having to necessarily speak it, which is also a huge thing. I mean, some women and men, when they're attacked, literally can't speak. So it's not, you know, an uncommon phenomenon, I don't believe, in my research.
Not at all. And also, you know, most people would not have the information and insight that Charlotte's character has. You know, she knows what's involved with the rape kit. She knows what's involved with people knowing, you know, so she's coming from maybe a unique or specific vantage point. So I thought it was the right choice for Charlotte's character. And also, and I don't know if the show will get into this at all, but it shows that even though a rape kit does take an hour to an hour and a half to go through the entire kit, if you're not able to go through the entire process, if you can give a little bit or whatever you can, and say yes to that, then they at least have something to work with.
Yeah, you can see that we had something to work with. Not to tell you too much, but...
Right.